Are you going to include your Sean Strickland impression in the actual episode? I think you should.
Can make that the cold open.
Yeah.
I wish I had something better. I wish I'd had a better bit for Sean Strickland as Marge Simpson.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like jabs. I just think they're neat. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Heavy Hands. I'm Connor. With me, as always, is Mr. Phil.
Yo.
And the episode, a little late this week. Phil, do you want to? Well, I'll just. It's embarrassing.
Turkey.
I don't want to make Phil explain. I don't want to make. I'll just say that.
Turkey.
I'll just say that Phil got ill. He caught the hantavirus doing a sex tour of Turkey.
Hey, I told you not to tell them that.
This is a direct quote. He wanted to taste a piece of pussy from Van to Istanbul. I thought that was disgusting when he said that to me. But
I told you that in confidence.
The listeners are going to be wondering why the show's a day late.
I went to be inspired by the uniquely shaped rocks in the Valley of the Lovers in Cappadocia.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and I was.
I saw some shapes.
Yes, I may have had to have paid a price for that, but it's a price I would gladly pay.
You paid two prices for it. First was the fee, and now the illness.
Yep.
But anyway, Phil is sick and he was traveling. He did catch the hantavirus, and that's why the show's a day late. So, sorry everyone, but we are ready to talk about UFC 328. A day late, but hopefully not. I hope a dollar short. Phil, you've seen these fights.
I have. I saw them super late because I couldn't. I was like, sure, I'll try and watch these in Turkey, and then And I realized I could do none of that because I was on a laptop that I couldn't download the software that would allow me to watch it in a, let's say, less than legal fashion, but also like all the legitimate ways that I normally use, aka HBO Sports TNT and Fight Pass, etc. None of that actually worked in Turkey.
Or region block.
You're in Turkey, and I couldn't install a VPN. So it was very late until I actually watched this. I think I watched it yesterday, which was basically when I got back, which was the 13th. One of the longest times I think I've been since I've actually seen like a UFC event, let alone a like relatively momentous one.
So did you get spoiled? Because I got to say, this one was definitely. Oh, that's a shame. Because this one, there was really something to it. Feeling it play out live, you know?
Well, I was going to say that because I was thinking that when I was watching the fight, because I was like, because apart from anything else, the only things I would see was when because it's impossible to avoid nowadays. I didn't go on Twitter or anything, but just your phone will like helpfully give you headlines it thinks you're interested in. It was like, Sean Strickland's upset, and I was like, oh, thank you.
Thanks.
But on the other hand, like, it did make for a super interesting experience because like as I've said before, like the experience of watching things play out when you know what the outcome is not necessarily always bad. Like the John Jones, I've always said like the John Jones Gustafsson thing, right? That got spoiled to me. People were like, oh man, incredibly close fight, maybe a robbery. And I watched it and I was like expecting that. And then I saw the fight and I was like, oh, that's pretty clear, Jones. Fine. So I was watching Strickland Chimaev and I was like, I wonder how this is going to turn out. Like, it's going to turn this. And then round 2 rolled around and I was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Now I genuinely know how this fight's going to turn out. And then round 3 and 4 came around. And I was like, huh? What is going on?
Yeah. It's 2 rounds of a very meaningful title fight, and then 3 rounds of what I'm afraid can only be called middleweight MMA. It was astounding, wasn't it?
Yeah. Genuinely fascinating. Like, there's nothing quite as... Like, because, there's something to the, inevitability of storytelling when you know something's going to turn out a certain way. And I was just like, oh, yeah, of course. Like, round 2, Chimaev is looking cooked. He's pulling guard. He's looking exhausted. Of course I know how this is going to go now that I know the result and I've seen this.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
It really kept you on your toes.
Yeah. At the end of it, I was like, did Sean Strickland even win that?
Yeah.
I don't even know if he did.
That's a good point. I'm not sure he did either. Yeah, which does bring up one thing we talked about last week. I mean, obviously we were wrong on the pick, but like, who fucking cares? Like this.
No, I don't care. This is very entertaining.
Somehow it's like, looking back in hindsight, it's like, yeah, of course it was a Sean Strickland fight. Of course he got his second like monumental win over a seemingly undefeatable opponent for the middleweight title. Of course that happened the way it did. But beforehand, it's like, how could this just be a Sean Strickland sparring session? How is that possible for this one?
Yep.
And yet. That's what it was. So, but also, to your point, you did say last week, I think Chimaev could probably beat Sean Strickland in this shitty kickboxing fight. And I was like, I don't know, Phil. I'm not sure he could. But now I've seen it. And... it was close enough that he easily could have gotten it.
Yeah. I was like, there's no reason that he can't win rounds on the feet against Sean Strickland.
Yeah. To quote a person whose name I sadly have forgotten from my Twitter mentions, when I said I can't believe Sean Strickland's done it again, I believe their phrasing was, he watched the opponent let him win.
Yep.
That is a really excellent way to describe what happened in the last 3 rounds of this fight.
But yeah, like Sean Strickland struggled against, mediocre strikers before.
Yeah.
Because he cannot really shut people out of a fight unless they immolate in a very specific way.
Yeah.
And yeah, say whatever else you might about Chimaev, but he genuinely seemed to be enjoying this very, very silly fight, and so thus did not immolate.
Yeah, true. He seemed to be enjoying it, and yet there was a period where he was having a really miserable time. And it's just okay. So here's what I want to say. Even if you think that Chimaev won, and I think that's a very credible argument, because the fight was incredibly fucking close and indecisive. How is it that Sean Strickland got slept by Alex Pereira off a beautiful feint? And I know not everyone's going to hit him like Alex Pereira hit him, but it was off a feint. Body jab, level change, left hook upstairs. A classic. It's what Marcos Maidana got Adrian Broner with. Remember that? And that is the last guy Sean Strickland has fought who knew what a feint was and what to do with it. Like, how... Khamzat Chimaev didn't feint a goddamn thing in this entire fight. And I know he's not a striker by trade, but, like, how is it that all these elite fighters are so completely perplexed by Sean Strickland's ability to put his hand in front of a punch, that they can't figure out how to misdirect him? It's not like he's a guy who doesn't bite on feints. Like, every Sean Strickland fight is somewhat like watching Adesanya versus Blachowicz. where Sean Strickland is eating tons of feints, to borrow Joe Rogan's phrase, but it just never goes anywhere. Like, the results of deception on Sean Strickland are clear, but nobody ever exploits it. Few people even try. Why is this very simple style of defense so unstoppable in the middleweight division?
Because they're not very good.
Yeah, that's the only answer I could come to. I think that's the natural conclusion. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's the weirdness of MMA and the weirdness of middleweight in particular has really just calcified over the last 4 years or so.
Yeah.
That you're just, it's increasingly, it's always been the division where you could make your way to a title with a single weird game. But now it is, you can win the title with a single weird game.
Yep.
And so basically, Strickland gets to have these fights where he has the only, defensive weapon because he can parry jabs.
Yep.
And they don't have one. And then they get tired and gassed out from being jabbed a million times.
Yep.
But yeah, as I said, I don't know who won this fight. I thought honestly, obviously round 1 is very clear for Chimaev. Round 2 is very clear for Strickland. Round 3, maybe Chimaev won it.
Yep.
But round 4, I thought Chimaev pretty much definitely won it. And then Sean Strickland definitely won round 5. Basically comes down to round 2.
Mm-hmm.
Or
round 3 might be the big swing. A lot of people were not. I think I can't recall the term, but
didn't he buzz him in? I thought Chimaev buzzed him in round 3. It's in round 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, so you buzzed him in round 4. Yeah.
But what's the term for when something goes against your expectations, and so you can't actually objectively evaluate it anymore?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where
because it was like
Chimaev's not getting takedowns, so you just sort of inherently believe that Sean Strickland must be winning.
Yeah, because I remember the first 4 minutes of commentary for that round. They're just like, God, he's not even trying the takedowns anymore. He must be just exhausted. And you're like, he's kind of winning, punching him in the face a bunch.
Yeah, he's kind of just marching forward, hitting him.
Yeah. I mean, it also demonstrates that, because we've seen that it is entirely possible to solve Strickland's striking approach with a less coherent technical kit than the one that Chimaev actually has. Because basically... Duplessis he didn't parry so much as block most of the jabs, but all he did was he just body kicked Strickland and stayed as far away as possible, and just did not ever walk onto the jab. He simply spammed body kicks and his longest strikes at Strickland's maximum range. And just basically outworked him.
Yeah,
you could see that Chimaev would be more than capable of doing that if he body kicked him. But
which he did some. Basically the last 2 rounds of this fight are quite similar to any round from Strickland versus Duplessis, including the part where Duplessis kind of wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but all that being said, this was within the extremely confined boundaries of a Sean Strickland fight, in that he's always doing the same thing. This was a great performance by Sean Strickland. This was one of his best performances. I mean,
certainly it put to bed, I think, many of the lingering doubts about his defensive wrestling and grappling, which, yes, he got taken down very quickly. Of course, that was always going to happen. And he had to play nothing but defense on the ground. But already, by the start of round 2, it was wait, maybe Khamzat did that win all 5 rounds easily thing for the first time ever against Strickland, because Dricus didn't do anything when he was on the ground.
Yeah.
He just didn't make him work at all. And I know that Kamzat had a horrific weight cut, apparently, and, who knows what else is going on. But I am sure Sean Strickland's diligent, active defense and scrambling did not help Chimaev's gas tank.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that he was attacking wrestling, he was attacking the wrestling himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was actively going after Chimaev on the ground. And I think, nothing is more mentally fatiguing than, being convinced that you are absolutely going to out-wrestle this guy. And then suddenly he is on. Suddenly, you think, you're just thinking, I've got to wrestle. And then he gets out, and then suddenly he's put you on your back.
Yeah.
And you are not getting up.
Outside of that, I'm not sure I totally agree with it being a particularly great Sean Strickland performance. Like, we saw something that we don't usually see tested in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw Strickland pass that test.
I will say that
colors.
he also genuinely went after it in the 5th round.
Yes.
In a way which he literally never has before.
That's true.
He went after it the way that he will go after it in like the 10 seconds of a fight when, he's doing the, like, look at what a warrior I was kind of thing. But he was absolutely like putting a capper on the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept his pace up. He greatly increased his pace because he'd just been getting like jabbed up from round 3 and 4. He was just like, no, I need my jab out there. I can't remember what the corner was saying, but probably like credit to Eric Nixick as well. He was just like, you need to go after him.
Yeah. Might be the first time in Eric Nixick's career he's gotten to experience the joy of Sean Strickland listening to him as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a very cornerable fighter from what I've seen.
Yeah, tremendous credit to Sean Strickland, honestly. Like, because he's always the same guy. We know this.
Mm-hmm.
But within that framework, I thought this was a genuinely very good performance. As I said, the mental fortitude, as well as like being able to get out of the takedowns, the mental fortitude to like then reverse them and go after him actually forcing the issue in the 5th round rather than just Stricklanding his way to like a round where it was like, maybe you won that.
A probable decision loss, honestly, if he hadn't done that. It was 48-47 across the board. I haven't looked at the specific rounds that the judges went for, but seems likely that that may very well have made the difference.
Yeah. As I said, I don't even know that he won this fight. And I think probably, I've watched it twice.
Yeah.
I don't actually think he did.
Yeah.
I think that thing that scoring criteria, like, it is just round 1 Chimaev, round 2 Strickland, round 3 Chimaev, round 4 Chimaev, round 5 Strickland. I don't think I've changed my opinion on that. But, I put a lot of stock in, like, looking at a fight and being like, who was winning this at the end?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not always been something I can say for Sean Strickland. So I give him credit for a very courageous and tough performance.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a quick Google here. Cognitive symptoms of hantavirus.
Mm-hmm.
There are good parts of it, certainly. The defensive wrestling grappling was very impressive. Round 5 actually pushing. That's impressive, especially given that it's Sean Strickland. On the other hand, like, how do you have round 2 happen, round 2 of this fight, and then that's what round 3 looks like?
I guess he's still Sean Strickland.
Yeah, I know, but that's what we're calling it, a particularly great Sean Strickland performance.
I've sparred this guy super good now. Now he's going to give up. That's what he was thinking.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Think of how bad Chimaev had been sparred by that point.
That's true. He was probably ready for an orange slice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was such a frustrating fight from both guys. Like, but seriously, like, if you're Sean Strickland, you have a guy who's not a striker, He's visibly gassed. He doesn't, unlike Israel Adesanya, who merely didn't know what to do with the feints that he was using against John Strickland, Chimaev doesn't know what a feint is.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a single ounce of like deception or trickery in his game at all. And so you just have a guy marching after you. He also doesn't know how to catch or parry the jab, which you do. And then it's after the round where he gassed and pulled guard. And also Strickland hurt Chimaev in that second round. He hit him with a right hand that clearly buzzed him. And then round 3, Strickland comes out and just watches Chimaev take over the fight again on the feet. It's hard for me to call that like really great. I think that's like truly, if Strickland had lost this fight, which we both agree is justified, arguably at least, would this not be like a candidate for worst brain thinking?
I guess so. But it is John Strickland. I'm grading on a curve.
Yeah, this did come up on Twitter. Did anyone ever decide that worst brain thinking can't be something that you do over and over and over again?
That's a good point.
I mean, Lord knows I've had some bad brain thinking that stuck with me for years and years. So just because it's habitual doesn't mean. But unfortunately, Sean Strickland won the title, so there's no worst brain thinking about it.
It's hey that worked.
It's hey that worked 100%.
Yeah. But like I said, he was tough and he stuck with it. So we gotta have some criticism of Kamzat. Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, now increasingly becoming, it's always fun to like eventually have the
Who are you thinking
eventually
of?
have like the because you're like, something's off with this guy, right? You can never really see what it is. It's always interesting to see what the actual problem is. And it's obviously at this point, there's no linkages between his striking and his grappling and his wrestling whatsoever.
Yep.
Like, he's either just like, actually, a fairly competent, powerful, straight striker.
Sure. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that he doesn't know, but he's big and tall and he throws straight punches. It's not all bad.
Yep. And he's fast and he's powerful. But yeah, but his wrestling is just him utterly overwhelming people with like blast doubles that they cannot stop even if they are fully prepared for them, which he only gets to do like a limited amount of against people who can actually wrestle.
Yeah. Yep.
And as it turns out, but I mean, even then, it is notable that not that many people have been able to shut his wrestling down in the same way that like Sean Strickland did.
Oh yeah, Kamaru Usman struggled.
Yeah,
more.
He gave up takedowns in every single round.
Yeah, and I think spent more time on his back in like actually controlled positions.
Yeah.
When Strickland was on the ground, there wasn't a single time when he was just getting like ridden and dominated. There was movement. He was defending. He was attacking, creating scrambles at all times. So yeah.
Yeah. But so I think it was a combination of him actually having like decent, genuinely good like takedown defense, not enough to stop Kamaru's initial shot and initial takedowns, but enough once he was tired. But also scrambling and attacking him on the floor. But yeah, it's now very, very clear that Chimaev has no linkages between his striking and his grappling whatsoever. He's an upright striker who with zero level changes to his game, or he's simply like doing the Goldberg spear.
Yeah, and he's also got that Conor McGregor thing where he's an unnaturally good fast starter.
Yeah.
Like, it's not normal for even elite professional fighters to be that comfortable and that successful just going out there and blowing people out of the water immediately. No time to set anything up, no time to think, no time to get a feel for the guy. You just go and you crush him. That's an unusual trait that Chimaev and McGregor share, and they also both share the fact that they're terrible adjusters. Like, the cost for being that devastating immediately is that if it doesn't work, there is no ability, I don't even think, to access a plan B.
Yeah, you've loaded everything into your brain and then you just simply execute and then it's done.
But certainly the technical limitations and the tactical limitations are part of that too. Like, it's tied in my mind conceptually to like the complete lack of feints. Like, why is Chimaev not feinting level changes as this fight goes on? Like, the commentary was not
why
wrong.
Doesn't he have anything?
like
that comes off a level change. You know, TJ Dillashaw's sort of weaving left kick,
right,
or the Chad Mendes uppercut, or you know, any of Frankie Edgar's level change setups where we would come up with like the left hook or the left hand to the body, right hand upstairs. Any of this,
the
stuff,
Randleman left hook,
striking.
The ducking overhand right, just the basics of wrestle boxing aren't there.
Yeah, not even the overhand right mixed with the level change.
Right.
Simply being an upright kickboxer or just blast doubling people off their feet.
Yeah. It's a very dysfunctional game when the playing field is leveled.
Yeah.
And it's just our curse that Sean Strickland was the first man to level that playing field. I mean, how does he do it? I watched it and I'm still not sure how he did it. Truly. Yeah. I mean, it
is genuinely sort of fascinating. I really hope they don't do Strickland Duplessis 3.
They'll do Strickland Chimaev 2 first, probably. Surely.
I would honestly much rather see that fight.
Yeah, I would too.
I just don't like the idea of like champions just like sitting out and then just waiting for a acceptable style matchup to roll around again, and then be like, I'm ready actually.
No, Duplessis should have to fight Imavov or something, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, it just goes to show what an incredibly weird division modern middleweight actually is.
100%.
Yeah, just like you just find yourself thinking how incredibly like it's actually like a sort of illustrative thing, though. You find yourself thinking, if you could somehow combine these guys, if you could combine like the fight IQ of Chimaev with the power of Sean Strickland and the technique of Duplessis, you could just have a truly, truly amazing fighter.
I mean, honestly, Duplessis' brain is so much better than either of these guys in a very particular tactical kind of way, which just makes it all that much funnier that he that same brain conceived of a game plan for Khamzat Chimaev where wrestling just didn't really enter into it.
Yep.
It's this fucking division. It's nonsense. But anyway, speaking of the power of scrambles and fights full of momentum swings, and really, in the same way as Strickland Chimaev, the co-main event was just the height of MMA, much like the main event. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will talk about that fight, Van Taira, after this. Hey, thanks for listening to this week's Heavy Hands. If you like what you hear, you might consider supporting us on our frankly underpriced Patreon. Not that what you find on there is particularly good, but it is only $3 a month. Go to patreon.com/heavyhands to find fight commentaries, bonus episodes, and more as often as we can be bothered to post them. Patreon.com/heavyhands. We hope you enjoy. Now, back to the show. Also, Sean Strickland's a huge pussy. I thought his post-fight speech was pathetic.
I didn't watch that shit.
He was like, "What, you guys? All that stuff I said about Muslims, it was just to sell the fight. I actually love you all." Shut the fuck up. No, you don't. You idiot.
I've never realized before how much he sounds like Marge Simpson.
Oh, Khamzat.
I didn't watch any of the build-up for this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As soon as they brought the mic over to him, he did start talking and doing that, and I was like, you know what? I don't care. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this card overall.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't watching this. Bye, Sean Strickland.
Goodbye. Until next time.
Yeah.
I know it will look
Good
very
job.
much like this time.
Yeah, sure will.
All right. Flyweights?
Yeah.
Joshua Van is God. That's how we're beginning this segment. Joshua Van truly deserves better than the current era of the UFC.
Yep.
That's how good he is. It is like watching early career Max Holloway.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good, and he had such a serious test in front of him in Tatsuro Taira. This fight was a salve for my wounded heart, Phil. I've seen and talked about so much excruciatingly low-level MMA over the last 6+ months that I felt genuine love in my heart watching this. This fight reminded me why I really love MMA. It was the best. Just every single aspect of the sport at the highest level, but also violent and ferocious and courageous on both sides. Like, this is what it's all about. And Joshua Van is our Lord and Savior.
Yep. Yeah, it's exactly the what was it? It was where they had Poirier Holloway and then Gastelum
Adesanya, yeah.
And then Gastelum Adesanya, where it was like everyone was like, man, this is middleweights, huh? And you're like, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
But like the fight before it was one of the best things you've ever seen.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we were like, yeah, this is the best fight they've put on so far this year. Because it was,
absolutely right? It was.
I cannot think of anything better.
Clear fight of the year so far, no question in my mind.
Yeah, just tremendous. Yeah, back and forth, incredible amounts of heart. No, sort of a broadly similar dynamic to the main event, but like without any of the but with more of an actual like put together game from Taira, and with no one taking any time off in any phase.
Yeah.
Everyone, both fighters, like relentlessly pushing their perceived advantage at all times. Just like, yeah, brutal and awesome, and yeah, even having picked like Joshua Van when Taira started pushing, after he'd been like brutally knocked down and bloodied up.
Like end of round 3, Van looks a little tired. Taira gets a takedown, and you're like, holy shit, is he about to take this all back? Yep.
Yeah, and like at that point, I was like, even though I'm a Joshua Van stan, and I picked him to win and all that kind of stuff. If Taira pulls this back, I can't hate on it at all. This is just fucking sensational stuff. Like,
and even in
coming
the losing
back from something like that,
and even in a losing performance, I thought he looked excellent.
Yeah.
Every single part of Taira's game looked better than I've ever seen it. He looked incredibly focused. He was clearly willing till and after the very end of the fight to go through whatever necessary to keep trying to win.
Yep.
Yeah. I enjoyed watching the man before, but absolutely this made me a Tatsuro Taira fan.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
So, where to even begin? I mean, it was such an electric back and forth high level fight. Here's where I'll start. It was with the feeling that I had during the first round which is such a wonderful feeling to have when you really are like a fan of a fighter. Similar to when I watched Poirier Saint-Denis. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And even as that first round was playing out, I was like, Poirier's got this. Or in a much less emotionally invested level, like watching Yuri Prochazka versus who's the big, giant, tall Eastern European guy? I've forgotten his name.
Rakic?
Yeah, versus Alexander Rakic. I was watching that with friends, and I was like, I know this looks really bad. The guy I told you is going to win is getting his ass kicked, but trust me, he's going to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Watching the first round of this, even though Taira's takedowns were beautiful, his top control was nasty, I felt in my bones that this was not what the rest of the fight was going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a wonderful feeling to have actually have faith in a fighter's ability to solve problems. I know that sounds silly, but genuinely, it's kind of shockingly rare even at high-level MMA. A lot of fights are decided by one guy has the right idea, and that's it. There's no adjustment possible on the part of the opponent. And I just knew, even watching Taira easily win the first round, the rest of the fight was not going to look like that.
Mm-hmm.
And watching Van's adjustments on the ground, I mean, there came a point when Taira did continue getting takedowns. There came a point when he had to resort to genuine lay and pray. Because any space at all would allow a Joshua Van scramble, and he would lose position.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua Van's underhooks off of his back, the use of the butterfly guard, just incredible. I mean, he didn't waste an instant. Literally the second that Taira would give him any room, boom, hip bump, elevator, whatever, and a scramble would ensue. That's, if you can't stop all the takedowns, you've got to be able to do that. And I'm not sure I've ever seen anybody do that better than Joshua Van did it here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think a big part of that first round is just that it becomes increasingly apparent that Taira cannot jab with Joshua Van.
Yeah.
Because Van has defense. He's stepping out of the way. He's also like throwing like slipping jabs a lot.
He likes to do that jab where you lean over your front foot and come inside the other guy's jab.
Mm-hmm.
He likes that one a lot.
Yeah. And it's basically that it becomes the wedge that starts to pick Taira apart because everything starts to become more costly. He has to level change under. He has to try and level change under the jab, mm-hmm. which is generally not committed to enough. Because
it's a jab. It's also a jab from a shorter guy, which is harder to get underneath if you're the tall guy trying to shoot.
Yeah, which means that he's means that the takedown is not coming freely. Typically, he's like. Van is still getting his underhooks being pushed back to the cage and maybe being taken down, mm-hmm. but he's always inflicting some attritional damage. But also eventually it just leads him into that, huge right hand at the end of round 2, which is essentially the beginning of the end because suddenly the rest of the fight is being fought from a position of like now massive attritional damage.
Yep.
Like he is now far behind. The takedowns have not like depleted Van's life bar in any way.
Yeah. And also each one, even over the course of round 1, led to less and less time in top position. Mm-hmm. Like already the adjustments were being made. And then, he reaches a point where there is seemingly no coming back. And yet, boy, did he really try. Yeah. He hit more beautiful takedowns. He adjusted his approach to the ground. I'm not slighting him when I say he had to resort to lay and pray. Like, he got a takedown in round 4 or whatever it was, And he was like, I got to keep him here. Like, that was just a sensible decision. Do not let him scramble. And he also, was storming after Van at points with combinations of punches and trading with him.
Yeah. Just like a tremendously gutsy performance. Because, as Hamzat found out in the main event, when your takedowns aren't working, it's demoralizing. When you get hurt badly multiple times after your takedowns stop working.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of how many opponents we've seen, how many fighters we've seen that simply and incredibly understandably give up at that point.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm not, they just break.
You crumble.
They're like, I can't make it back into this fight.
Bro, it happens to me in games of blitz chess. Of course it happens in a fucking fist fight where you're getting hurt. It's like, yeah. You're like, there's no winning this. I give up. It happens.
Yeah, you see people mentally break.
Yeah.
And Taira just kept going. And goddamn, did he almost
I know.
Just gut his way back into this fight.
Yep. I am glad you mentioned Van's jab, however, because, of course, I'm glad you mentioned the jab, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just want I want people to study the way that Joshua Van uses his jab here, because I think there's this understanding of the jab as merely a setup. It's something that the guy reacts to because it's like annoying or whatever, and it's easy to throw, and then you land the real punch. But I'm telling you, watch Joshua Van fighting here. The jab is the real punch. The jab is what controls the fight.
You know who else you could watch where the jab is the real punch?
What's that? Strickland.
Yeah. He maybe took that one a little too much to heart.
But you know what I mean? It is like, is as you say, it's the wedge. It's the space-filling tool that puts Taira in this position where he's never comfortable. He's never leading the dance. He is always thinking about what's coming. And of course, what comes off the jab is something to worry about too. But Van is jabbing when Taira presses forward. He's resetting with the jab. When Taira changes angles, he'll jab to kind of freeze him up so he can reset and match his new position. When Taira is like retreating and trying to do some boxing of his own, Van will feint, get him to move, and then just stick a jab in his face. Every opportunity where there's like a moment of uncertainty in Taira's body language, Van sticks him with a jab. And he dropped him with it too, if that doesn't demonstrate to you how real of a weapon the jab is. But yeah, it's not just a setup. It is the tool of control. And Joshua Van uses it perfectly. It makes his pressure work. It makes his counterpunching work. If he stops a takedown, which by the way, he did a fantastic job, I believe you already mentioned, of punishing the takedowns. Another excellent demonstration of his just deep understanding of how fighting works. But there are times when he couldn't get a big shot off after defending a takedown. He'd stick him with the jab while he's resetting. Anytime he's moving his feet, anytime he's trying to get in, jab. And it's horrible to be on Tatsuro Taira's side of that kind of fight. You just can't think, You can't settle down and think of what to do because you're constantly being just pelted and hammered by this really easy, efficient punch that comes out of nowhere at any moment. So,
yep.
Joshua Van knows what the fuck the jab is. I'll tell you that much. And I'll tell you another thing. He uses it slightly better than Sean Strickland.
Yep. As we said last week, he's just that guy. He's someone where, like Max Holloway, you're watching him. He may not be as incredibly likable as Max Holloway, although we can say that when Jose Aldo lost to Max Holloway, there was still plenty of salty people who were like, "Oh, I can't believe."
Yeah, I'm not sure how incredibly
they loved him so much, but
I'm not sure how incredibly likable Max Holloway was until he got the mic stuck in front of his face more often. And, he was just a guy who was really cool and kept winning, even though he was 7-1.
Yeah. But he still seemed like a cool, likable guy. But in that way, you're looking back on it and you're like, if they can't turn Max Holloway into a star, what are they doing?
I know. He doesn't fucking need to have an interesting personality. Have you seen him fight? It's incredible. It's electric.
In the same way, Joshua Van, one of the, just an incredible talent, an electrifying performer, young, fights regularly, everything you could possibly want. If you can't turn this guy into a star, if you can't make the flyweight division appointment watching with this guy, at the top of it, what are you doing?
I know. So I said, as elated and just purely delighted as I was watching this, there's a little sadness of why does now have to be the time that we get Joshua Van? I'm happy to have him.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But man, he should have gotten this run in the Max Holloway era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even then, I'm not sure how good the UFC was
on
pushing.
the other hand,
go on.
On the other hand, I do kind of feel like he does have a genuine, but in part because there's so little else out there in the UFC.
Yeah.
Apart from the in terms of sort of up and coming talent, he does have a chance to really stand out in the same way that McGregor basically really made featherweight and lightweight marquee divisions in a way that they simply weren't before he turned up. I do hope that Van can really get some eyes on flyweight, because that's essentially two almost straight fight of the year contenders, and I don't doubt that the Pantoja fight would also have been a fight of the year contender.
And I'm sure they're going to try to make it, so I will say I'm sure that it will be a fight of the year contender.
But yeah, this guy is he's just fire. One more thing I wanted to say, directionality. I think they were talking about the calf kicks a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think Taira did have some kind of plan to try and take the Van jab away with calf kicks a bit. But he simply couldn't do it because he was on his back foot too much.
That is definitely something Van will probably have to address in the future, though, because he didn't really... I mean, maybe he'll... Let's be honest. Was Max Holloway ever excellent at checking kicks?
Nope.
No, he mostly just gets in your face and hits you while you're trying to throw them. And then you decide maybe you shouldn't do that anymore. So that'll probably be Van's approach. That's essentially what happened here. Taira got in some nasty calf kicks, but every single one was punished. And so they just didn't really make themselves known as a key weapon in the fight. But there might be an opponent out there who can take advantage of the fact that Joshua Van clearly doesn't really think about checking low kicks.
Yep. Don't know who it is.
But then you're going to have to deal with Joshua Van's pressure and Joshua Van's jab and, much, much easier said than done, I'm sure.
Yeah, and he's just he's a young and improving fighter.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're going to see from him in the future.
He's full of confidence. Go on.
Yep.
Go on. I'm going to assume that
I'm going to assume that that he's, mostly complete at this point, especially because he's winning and so on. But, you just never know. There are times you get fighters and they just surprise you over the course of their title reigns.
Oh yeah. There's likely to be
where the truly great fighters come in is when, you see how much they develop not just on the path to the title, but in holding the title.
Yes. Yeah.
So we will see. But at the moment, you can simply say this is one of the most calculably exciting fighters in the UFC. And just
one of the best technicians, one of the best tactical problem solvers. Also, by the way, he's super tough and he has 5 easy rounds of stamina. working at a very high pace. Because everything that he's trying to do is really very efficient. Like the man leverages his body weight into his punches. There's no pushing, no flinging himself off balance. It makes it look so easy and relaxed. And so, yeah, you have to deal with him for 25 minutes if he doesn't get you out of there sooner. And he adjusts. He thinks and he adjusts. And you can't just have one good idea and beat him with that. You know, he's Joshua Van is why I love MMA. Truly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Truly sensational.
Yep. I cannot wait to see this man's face. I do hope they do the Pantoja rematch next.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
They absolutely should. That one, how cruel that one for like 12 seconds, it was already clear, like, this is going to be amazing. And then it just ended. But that's going to be a great fight. I can't wait. I love Joshua Van. God damn it. He's the man.
Love Pantoja too.
Of course. But Joshua Van is a once-in-a-generation talent kind of fighter, very clearly. He just is a true natural. I mean, I think this... Consider this, and we will wrap up here in a moment. We have other undercard fights to talk about. Joshua Van's pro career started in 2021.
Jesus.
He has been fighting for 5 years. And he's 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So even if he doesn't change at all, we've got minimum, 6 years of Joshua Van being pretty much this good.
Yep.
It's the best. Couldn't be
As I
happier.
said, if they can't do anything with this guy,
I know. I know.
I mean, there aren't that many more damning indictments you can give to the UFC from a promotional standpoint.
Yeah.
But come on, man.
I want to make a deal, and this is binding, even though Dana White isn't here to sign the contract, but it is a binding. If in 6 years' time, when Joshua Van is 30 years old, he is not a marquee fighter for the UFC, Dana White will eat a gun. That's binding.
It's fair.
I mean, I don't think I'm being unreasonable. All right.
No, more than fair.
Let's take a break. When we come back, Waldo Cortes-Acosta lost. That was pretty cool.
Yay.
Sean Brady does jiu-jitsu, proves that it is in fact real after all. And Yaroslav Amosov did some cool shit and other things. We're going to try to pick up all those pieces in segment 3 after this. Supporting us on Patreon is great, but there are other, even easier ways to support the show. In fact, you can follow this simple 2-step plan. Step 1, make a friend. Any friend at all. Step 2, tell them about Heavy Hands. In lieu of that, you could leave a positive rating or review for us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Back to the show. Welcome back to Heavy Hands. First up, it's following the form of the show, which is where we talk about the worst thing first and then talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about Alexander Volkov versus Waldo Cortes-Acosta. I don't really think Volkov won this fight.
Shut up! I'm not hearing it.
I'm not taking it away from him. I'm glad he got it, and he earned it with the Gone decision, The universe owed him this one. So all that feels just...
Ooh, he got a 30-27?
Yeah.
Okay.
All that feels just and fair.
I just want you to know, anonymous judge, I hate Waldo Cortes-Acosta too.
Good on you, mate. Yeah, this was hilarious. I mean, to have this happen immediately before Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira, it's like two different sports, one of which isn't really a sport. Like, Alexander Volkov had a terrible strategy for Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Or maybe it wasn't even his strategy. Maybe he just felt the speed, because that is one thing that Waldo has going for him. He's very fast for heavyweight. And maybe Volkov just felt that, and he's like, well, when I throw a jab, I have to write a letter to ask when it's coming back. So I don't want to get countered. Nonetheless, this was a fight where one man was approximately 4.5 feet taller than the other and did not throw a single jab till round 2, maybe even 3. But Waldo Cortes-Acosta still couldn't handle it. Not convincingly. So just everyone looked bad. Perfect heavyweight fight.
Yeah, this is so stinky. Yeah, it was just him just backing away and low kicking, and then Waldo Cortes-Acosta would just be like, maybe I should do so. Nah.
Yeah.
Maybe I.
Nah.
Nah. And occasionally he'd get like low kicks, and then he'd like,
throw
or he'd
punches.
just like. He'd just like do something where he'd like brush off his shoulder or do like a sort of try and style it out. It's like, you're not doing anything right.
By the way, that behavior right there is the seed of my hatred for Cortes-Acosta. I've got a litany of reasons now. I've seen him fight too many times not to hate him. They're terrible.
Yep.
Every fight is terrible. But it was that. It was I can't remember what bout it was. He was just following his opponent around, had no idea how to cut off the cage. It was kind of similar to this, just kind of getting picked off by kicks and stuff. And he was just like sneering and like just arrogance just flowing off of him.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really turned me against him.
Yeah.
But of course,
when your two things are like doing nothing and then chasing the other guy, like windmilling punches at him, and then being like, you know what, I'm too cool for this.
Yeah.
This is just beneath me. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no, it isn't. It's not beneath you.
So, on the other hand, our hoped for future of Alexander Volkov, UFC heavyweight champion, just got a little bit closer to reality.
Yep. Narc Volkov is invincible.
That's right.
He cannot lose anymore with that hair. He sort of did against Garn, but he didn't. We all know that he didn't.
Did you see he made a clearly deliberate attempt to recreate a meme in their stare down, and it made Waldo Cortes-Acosta incredibly pissed?
Oh yeah,
he tried to do that
smiling
meme with
face thing. Yeah. The hand on the shoulder.
He had the long blonde hair, put his hand in his shoulder. There's even a bald guy in the middle looking on. Perfect. And Waldo Cortes-Acosta was so
furious. I'm a cool guy. I'm not here to be made fun of or to be made a figure of fun.
There's nothing funnier than just being goofy and it like pissing some insecure man off because he's not in on the joke. Yeah. I remember me and my college buddy Corey, who, if they're still available anywhere, the first like 3 episodes of Heavy Hands feature him, I believe. We used to walk around the University of Cincinnati campus, and there would be, like jock-looking type guys, and he would start talking to them as if they were an apparition that had appeared. What do you want? Why have you come here? It's nothing offensive or rude, but every single one of them got pissed off because they're not in on the joke. That's the type of guy Waldo is. Yet another reason not to like him. But also, I don't think Volkov won. He fought really badly. This is just a terrible fight.
I mean, like... Because it comes down to round 2, right? Round 1. Round 1, because Volkov heavily outlands him and buzzes him in round 2.
Yeah.
So it's round 1. I can't remember who won that.
No, I mean, I don't... it sucked.
So I'm gonna say that Volkov did.
All right, I'll accept it.
Yep.
You've made a good argument.
Also, no one deserved to win this fight.
No, it was awful. This was
what was anyone doing in there?
Yeah, this was an indictment on the entire division, a distinction it shares with every other heavyweight fight. Horrible.
It just keeps it going.
Yeah.
As I said, Hockett Blades was a true abomination because it was actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
In a very, very silly way. It was a genuinely fun fight. And every other heavyweight fight this year has sucked unbelievable amounts of shit, and it's really rude to buck the trend in that way, especially because it will convince people to keep booking heavyweights.
Yep.
And yeah, this fight was back to, well, not back to, but simply continuing with the trend of them all being truly, truly horrific.
Yep. No, no defense, no feints, no.
I was also just like,
technique,
why is Volkov
no
not clinching up with him?
Yeah, good question.
I don't necessarily I wasn't even necessarily like just jab with him, but I was like, I don't know.
He's chasing after you.
Like Volkov is actually like quite a good clinch fighter.
Yeah, and he's running into you, and you're twice his height.
Yeah,
grab the back of his head.
Just grab and just like stick out an elbow or something. No, he was just like, no, I need to just back away and land one medium power low kick every 15 seconds.
Yep. And that was the fight.
Terrible, but at least Waldo Cortes-Acosta lost.
That's true. I will take it. Sean Brady walking Buckley. There's not even a lot to say because this was utterly one-sided. Sean Brady is that fighter that you look at like the state of modern MMA grappling and you're like, oh, nobody goes for mount anymore. Yada, yada, jiu-jitsu's fake. And then you watch Sean Brady gain mount on an opponent. And, yeah, it doesn't hurt that the opponent was walking Buckley. But it didn't look that different when he had fucking Leon Edwards underneath him. You know, a much, much better wrestler than Joaquin Buckley. And it is just like there isn't a millimeter of space where there shouldn't be in his top control. It is absolutely suffocating. I would not be surprised at all if Sean Brady could finish 8 out of 10 average men with shoulder pressure alone. I'm not joking. Like, it looks truly miserable to be underneath Sean Brady's top pressure. I really actually enjoy watching. He's one of the grapplers I enjoy watching most, I would say, in the current UFC. Because he's just really, really good. But, you know, Joaquin Buckley didn't...
This was such a weird one to pick because, like we said, it's both guys fighting against the thing they just lost to. And so, yeah, I think it was in the first round, I think Brady's first takedown defense gets shucked off.
Buckley's first layer of takedown defense looked very good.
Yeah. I mean, he's just very fast. He's got, you know, he knows to push his hips back. He's short and squat and powerful and all those things you need. And so, yeah, like his first 2 takedown attempts failed, and I was like, "Oh no, maybe I fucked this pick up. Maybe I screwed this one up because if Brady can't get takedowns,
he's cooked.
Then he's probably cooked." And then he got 1 takedown, and the fight was completely over. Just like that was it. And the sheer terror of being in that position again just kind of meant that Buckley could no longer had the confidence to not get run back into the cage from that point on. Like he couldn't be aggressive enough because that was
because he could not abide another takedown.
Yeah, and yeah, as you said, just like very impressive stuff from Brady. A fighter where I'm still not sure what his ceiling is.
No, I think he's just extremely matchup dependent. But you got to know that if it's a matchup where there is even a reasonable chance that Brady will hit his takedowns, he'll probably win it.
Yeah.
He might have the best, like, classic jiu-jitsu style top control in the modern UFC.
Yeah. In that way, like, Morales actually simply his, like, cruelest style matchup. Someone who's just giant and broadly terrible, but has incredible natural takedown defense and is massive and scary.
Yep, just sort of feels impervious. Indeed.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I don't know who else he could. Fight. He could fight Jack Della Maddalena.
I mean, yeah, that's a true outcome matchup if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I'm happy to. That's the kind of stuff that those two should be in at this kind of point.
Now that I think about it, I don't really hate that.
Yeah, I mean, if JDM wants to get back to the belt, he's certainly going to have to prove that he can wrestle.
Yeah, I would also be very interested to see Sean Brady and Gary.
Yeah.
Because here's someone who's not necessarily like terrifying on the feet, but it's Sean Brady, so he would definitely become very uncomfortable. But it would be definitely the stiffest test yet of Gary's wrestling and grappling, which has looked good so far, by the way. But it's Sean Brady. I'd like to see that matchup.
Yeah, I feel like Gary manages to spook a lot of people out somehow.
Definitely.
So I think Brady would probably be spooked out, but it would be fun to watch. But I think they're too far apart in the rankings at the moment.
Mm-hmm. There's not much to say about King Bobby and Jim Miller, other than that two more for the old guys.
One more for the old guys. Let's be honest. Doesn't really count when you're also killing an old guy.
Well, I suppose that's true.
I mean, especially like as we said last week, like Jeremy Stevens is very washed.
Yeah, he is,
and Bobby Green for whatever reason is not.
Nope.
But yeah, Jim Miller, Jared Gordon, that was actually genuinely surprising to me.
Yeah. Why did Jared Gordon shoot on Jim Miller? Why did he do that?
It's an interesting question.
Like, the book on Jim Miller is there's a lot of fights he could have won on the feet if he like understood positioning and ring generalship, but he doesn't. So the book on him is like you pressure him. You stay in his face and you keep him on the back foot and you don't grapple with him. There's just no reason to. Unless you're really, really good at grappling, So yeah. Strange one, but Jim Miller, still dangerous. Bobby Green, as long as the speed is dialed down to the level he's at now, still 100% Bobby Green. Well, except that he's king now.
Yeah. Also, like, Jared Gordon should have just recognized that he's a decision guy, and Jim Miller isn't a decision guy.
Yeah.
Jim Miller cannot win decisions anymore. Do you know when the last decision that Jim Miller won was?
Ooh, tell me.
2016 against Thiago Alvarez.
Wow. Thiago Alvarez. Want to feel old?
Yep.
Thiago Alvarez is now 87 years of age.
That sounds about right.
Damn.
The fight where Alvarez wanted to come down to lightweight and missed weight, and then Miller said, I think Miller also said Miller was like, okay, fine, and then missed weight himself so that Alvarez wouldn't get fined or something, and then fought him anyway. Some generally badass, awesome Jim Miller thing, and then won one of his only decisions ever.
2016, you say? Jim Miller has had 22 fights since then.
Yep.
What a guy. He's just one of those guys. There's I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. This is embarrassing. There's an old man in sumo, Tamawashi, who's in his 40s, I think. I
can't believe you blanked on Tamawashi. Jesus Christ.
He's in his 40s, I believe. They call him the Iron Man, though, because the most impressive thing about him is, well, first of all, he's in the top division of sumo still. So he's not getting bad enough records that he's getting dropped out, because sumo is a brutally hierarchical sport. So that's impressive enough that he's just scraping by enough. But the really amazing thing about him is that he has never missed a tournament. And they happen every 2 months. He's never missed a tournament for well over a decade. And that's the kind of superpower that Jim Miller has. Where, he's not as good as he once was, and youthful vigor and speed and durability and yada yada. But, clearly his body... Cub Swanson's one of these guys, too. Their bodies have just not broken down due to age and wear and tear the way that normal people's do.
Yep.
Like, it's just remarkable that he's still in any kind of fighting shape. Not only at 42, but at 42 with 60 fights under his belt. 20 of which happened in just the last 10 years.
Yep. That being said, I would love to see Jim Miller do the Cub Swanson thing.
He's not going to. He wants to make it to 50 UFC fights. He has a goal.
Oh God, how far away is he?
Let's see. First UFC fight for Jim Miller was his 13th bout at UFC 89 in 2008.
God. So he's only like 3 or 4 fights away.
He's not too far away.
Okay.
He's got 59 fights total. He's fighting at a super frequent clip. So yeah, he'll probably get it. And then he'll retire. That's what he said.
Yeah. I hope they're not sad. I hope they're like this.
Yeah. But, look at Jim Miller's record. And also look at the current UFC roster. There's likely to be at least 1 or 2 more like this before he's done. There are still fights Jim Miller can win, man. He's remarkable.
By finish.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. But he's still out there finishing motherfuckers, so.
Yep.
Last thing to mention, and this was easily one of the most impressive performances on the card. Yaroslav Amosov ran shop on Joel Alvarez. Handled him just very comfortably on the feet, like won a few exchanges, because as dangerous as Alvarez is, he's not really thinking of his defense when he starts to throw, and Amosov was able to catch him with a few counters and not really come out worse for wear from any of the striking. But his wrestling, and speaking of Sean Brady's top control, this is his competitor for like absolute best technical top control outside of the really little divisions. Amosov creates the same feeling of there being no breathing room whatsoever. Truly like a boa constrictor. But also, his takedowns were so sick in this fight. Did you see the one he hit on Alvarez? I think it was the one before the finish, where he body locks him, runs him into the fence, and then he does like a seated trip. He jumps up into the air and like sits his full weight down, sagging on the body lock, and drags him over his legs. It was like a seated lateral drop, or I truly have never seen it before. And for something I've never seen in a live fight before, it was like Joaquin Buckley's spinning kick KO, because not only was it cool, it was incredibly smooth and led to complete domination. Like Amosov's bag of tricks, but also the mastery he has of even these really particular weird little techniques was on full display. And of course, he crushed Alvarez from top position no less easily than Arman Tsarukyan did, which is certainly a massive statement. I felt this should be seen as a breakout performance for Amosov. Like, he should be getting top-ranked matchups absolutely. Immediately. And that's really all I got to say.
Dance.
What's that?
And he can breakdance.
And he can breakdance. Yeah, even better.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, as middleweight has become even more middleweighty, welterweight's actually doing all right at the moment.
I know, yeah. Got some fresh blood.
Especially. And I'm very, very excited to see this guy. I mean, as you mentioned, like, Alvarez is not exactly, he's one of those guys who didn't so much have, like, takedown defense at lightweight as he did
traps.
Being big.
Yeah.
It's just like a really, really big dude.
And he's also a guy who doesn't mind being taken down, like, in the abstract, because he likes to guillotine people, like, he likes people to test his guard.
Yeah, and he's just got a nasty clinch game.
Yep.
And he's super dangerous himself from top position, etc. And, he's just like, I've got so much offense and I'm just big and powerful that, what's any of this going to do? So that, like, the technical flaws in his takedown defense weren't really going to come back to bite him too much. But this was, as as with the Tsarukian thing, it was just like, oh yeah, it's a genuinely dangerous wrestler really does just like carve through him. But the amount of them that there are is very small. Yeah. But yes, that was a super cool takedown. It reminded me of like she reminded me of the stuff that you see from what's his face, super famous The Machine Russian wrestler, just like literally picking people up from like a sack of potatoes and just slamming them on their face. Karelin, yeah. Like just picking it as his famous thing where he would just like pick people up just from when they were on all fours and just slam them on their face.
But Amosov makes it look so smooth and easy. Like, man, his technical depth of his takedown game. You let this guy body lock you, or you let him lock onto a single leg or whatever, you are going to be dealing with 10 different takedowns in quick order, and none of them is going to be that taxing to him. He knows he's got you controlled. He's just going to keep fucking with your balance until one of them hits. I love watching that kind of wrestling game. I really do. And I mean, I think this is like Alvarez is kind of a similar test to like Charles Oliveira. Like if you're confident to take him down and test his guard and actually crush him there, that says something. He is a dangerous grappler. It's a statement from both Tsarukian and Amosov that they could handle him this easily on the ground.
Yep.
Get Amosov in some contender matchups immediately. Doesn't have a lot of time to waste. His record is absolutely sterling, and he's now had 2 UFC fights in short order with 2 submission wins. So make it happen.
Against a very credible opposition. Yep. Get him in ranked fights ASAP.
Absolutely. Overall, Jose Ochoa had a really fun fight and a really great, for him, very controlled striking performance in the curtain jerker on this card. And then he proposed to his girlfriend afterwards, but she wasn't there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
What do you think of Gauthier?
Gauthier is good.
Yeah.
I didn't, he's in the like getting work in phase of his career, so I'm not expecting too much. I absolutely knew he was going to beat Ozzy Diaz.
Mm-hmm. But I thought it was a good performance. Looked pretty calm and controlled, like slowly cranked up the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Interested to looking forward to seeing more.
I totally agree. It was also a classic, very funny tale of the tape. I watched that one with my fiance. Just look at these 2 guys. I was like, which of these guys do you think is going to win?
That is very true.
One of them looks like a fucking superhero, and the other one looks like your neighbor. Like, excellent visual. But I am glad. I mean, I don't know it's really hard for me to form like a working overall theory of what's happening in the UFC right now internally. But I will say, like, Joshua Van, Malcolm Wellmaker, to a certain extent, he's getting featured on this next card in an easy matchup. Ateba Gauthier, several others. They seem to have somebody at the UFC, or maybe it's the managers. Maybe there are a couple of real managers in this sport now who are interested in fighter development. Like letting prospects get work in, letting them get graduated tests against different kinds of matchups, really giving them time to breathe and not just making every single little like breakout mini star a Steve Erceg or Orlando Venata or what have you. And I like the way that they're managing Ateba Gauthier's career. Whether it's the UFC matchmakers or it's Gauthier's management or Gauthier himself. Maybe he's a Paddy Pimblett type who just knows exactly what fights to take to make it to the top. But I'm pleased to see it because Gauthier clearly needs development, as do many of the young fighters the UFC has signed recently. And they don't have a history of handling fighter development with much grace. So I am pleased to see that.
Yeah, I mean it's something that they can afford to do more now that the UFC
right.
is no longer the place for the best. This is the outcome of some of those policies is that you can match people softly because you have bad fighters on the roster.
That's what the Apex is. It's a warehouse for fodder.
Yep.
You store the feed there. And if for all the pain that it has caused us and that the Contender Series has caused us, it has enabled the UFC to just feed nutritious nothing to developing fighters. That is the one silver lining. It has given them the means to give easy matchups to people who still need them.
Yeah. But yes, I would start to push Gauthier up a bit more now.
Definitely.
I think this fight was a replacement, wasn't it? Or was it?
I'm not sure.
I think it was. They just booked it straight up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they should give him because he looks good, and he's at 24, and he's in a division which, as we said at the top of the episode, is not very good.
Yeah, and like as much as I'm always because the UFC has been so against like carefully managing and developing prospects in the past, I don't want to give the impression that I think that prospects can't handle getting their ass kicked now and then. Like, it might be necessary for Gauthier to achieve his potential to get a tough fight really soon. And then it would be nice for him to be able to go back to managing and developing again. That's fine. I love a prospect versus prospect matchup, you know?
Yep.
Give Gauthier...
Joshua Van and
Lonnie Kavanagh?
Lonnie Kavanagh both got brutally KO'd by Charles Johnson. And in fact, that's just how Charles Johnson teaches people to be amazing.
That's right. He's the father we all deserve. He just sparks you out when you do something wrong, and then you learn your lesson and you respect him.
He just has it's the way that he punches people just delivers veteran savvy.
Yep, there's wisdom
directly
in that right
to their
hand.
brain. Yep, a certain rhythm, a sort of hypnotic rhythm to the way he hits them. They're just like, I know stuff now.
All right, well. I'm sorry the episode was a day late this week, everybody, but I hope you enjoyed the show. It's such a delight to have so many good fights to talk about. And when you have so many good fights to talk about, it even makes it a greater delight to talk about the ones that are strange or weird or simply bad. Variety is the spice of life. We'll be back next week. The UFC has an Apex card, which is about 30% pretty good. Certainly has a great main event between Arnold Allen and Cortes-Acosta. The week after that, they are doing Song Yadong versus Davison Figueiredo. And I'm not yet sure how good the rest of that card is, but we'll be talking about various selections from those next week, I'm sure. And until then, hope you enjoyed the show. Sorry again about the wait. Hope it was worth it. And we'll talk to you next week. Until then, if you came here today for the finer points of face punching, you came to the right place. This has been Heavy Hands.